Right, so management quality is now a simple task, because since you have now already planned what to have as quality in your project. So managing quality is how you translate the quality management plan into executable quality activities. So this is where you start activating yourself, the actions that you take to maintain the quality. And uh, so managing quality process means basically you're ensuring that uh, the work that you do conforms to quality standards that you have mentioned in your quality plan. And so it increases the probability of, there is no guarantee that, obviously there is a risk element that something can go wrong, but then there's a probability of increase the probability of meeting the quality objectives of the project. And sometimes when you start managing, you might come across ineffective processes, ineffective practices of software development, and which that you can start eliminating. You as a project manager can start eliminating those processes. And so managing quality, again, sometimes is called the quality assurance process. Quality assurance process where sometimes maybe your project team might not have direct expertise to do it. You might outsource the quality assurance process, or maybe sometimes in large software companies there can be software quality assurance divisions are separately there, who will come and do audits and ensure that all the development teams are ensuring the quality standards that they have met, they are set. If such divisions are there in your organizations?
Yeah.
Okay, so they do and come and do the quality audits, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay, so as usual, you have the inputs and some techniques in the managed quality process, and the outputs that you can expect from a managed quality process. Very quick on to the inputs. So definite input is your quality management plan, which that now you have just done it, which sets the standards that you have to adhere in your project. Common stuff, again, lessons learned register from previous projects and mistakes that you have done. Quality control measurements and the quality control matrix, which are part of the quality management plan. Maybe the risk report again can be handy when managing quality. Again, your organization quality guidelines, quality assurance that results from previous quality assurance audits can be input in managing. Now this is in the execution phase. So last month's quality assurance audit can highlight certain deficiencies. So you need to manage in the execution phase, so that you quickly do corrective actions before the next quality assurance audit happens on your team. So now you are managing quality in your team, and a quality checklist will be a handy stuff so that there will be a checklist there to you can track. Sometimes the checklist should include actually the acceptance criteria or of the scope baseline, so that you're constantly aware that the customer will be definitely checking these acceptance criteria in your quality checklist. So basically into if my case, to share some experience, when you are doing our core system upgrade for the stock exchange trading, so we have certain quality parameters. So when you buy the servers and after you install it, there is a they do some load testings, and they do the high availability testings before the software is installed in the new hardware setup. So they do load testings and check whether whether the the hard disk rate or the IOPS rate is sufficient in the storage to handle large volumes of transactions. Then there is active fault tolerance testing, where they remove one server and see whether all the processes are switching to the other server, whether the Oracle rack is working. They they shut down one server and see whether the Oracle rack automatically takes over from the other server, the Oracle database. So likewise, we specify these are the parameters that you need to check once the hardware is installed. So not always the quality checks can always come from the software side also. So software development or software delivering a software product means hardware plus software. So in our case, majorly the quality parameters are in the hardware side. So we check the latencies of the transaction processing. So it's on the hardware side, and they monitor network, and they put network tools and monitor and see what's the latency level of the newly installed hardware infrastructure, and they fine tune it, the parameters at the OS level and at the database level. Then after only that, we install the application software and then see and do the final UAT rounds and see the software quality bugs are there. So as I told you, in the planning stage, definitely as a project manager, you know that these are the quality checks and acceptance criteria that is coming at the hardware installation milestone. These are the quality checks and acceptance criteria that is coming at the software development milestone. Got it? So now you are managing quality, your middle part, your middle way in the project. It's in my purse. So you're in the middle of middle of the project. You're in the execution stage. So sometimes you as a project manager might have to do alternative analysis. What different options that is available for you, because now you're in the middle of the project, and you may be tossing up certain options and approaches that is available to adhere to certain quality parameters that the customer wants to adhere. Then since you are in the middle of the project in the execution stage, the quality reports, the testing reports, performance reports, the variance reports that is coming from all other project management control aspects will be an input to this, so that you can take corrective and preventive actions. Sometimes you might have to do a process analysis in your project team, and you as a project manager, you might look at the processes that they follow and try to understand what are the non-value activities that they do. And sometimes the root cause analysis, sometimes internally, maybe after iteration and maybe in iterative cycles. In the previous iteration cycle, there was a huge bug, and then you do internal testing before the customer. Then you found out there's a huge bug, and you as a project manager, you tell them to do a root cause analysis why that bug came. So identifying what are the root causes, why that bug came, we a definite input to ensure that in the next cycle of the iterative cycle, so that you ensure that those quality issues won't pop up again. So already we did this in the planning stage. So those tools of data representation can be used when you're managing the quality. So quality audits, the quality assurance audits. As I told you, now you're managing quality, and frequently there will be quality audits. So the quality audits can be done by an internal department or a specialized quality assurance department. Maybe in a large organization, the PMO audit and the PM office can be doing, or maybe you outsource to a specialized auditor who is specialized on software audits or quality assurance audits, so that you can get expertise there. So whatever you do, you try to make it an independent process. So independent process, so that there is more weightage into the audit that they do. There are sometimes things like peer reviews, where I don't know whether you have come across in one of my previous organizations, we were adhering to Sarbanes and Oxley again like ISO, SOX, uh, uh, where where a company is listed in the Nasdaq, they have to maintain Sarbanes-Oxley information security standards. There you do peer reviews where another division guy comes into your division and do a peer review of activities that you do, whether you are adhering to the processes. So peer review is where another division head comes and audit your division heads. So you have to take it very positively. I mean, nothing against him, but then he does a peer review and try to come up with certain issues that he have seen and he have observed. So whatever, so from the peer review, what you try to understand is, without paying always external auditor, try to have some degree of independence. So on the audit, on the self-assessment that you do. So, uh, uh, so the objectives of quality audits is actually identifying all good stuff that you have implemented, as well as identifying all bad stuff you are doing. So all good stuff that you have implemented is a positive thumbs up for you, and identifying the non-conformities, gaps and shortcomings is you have to take positively as a project manager and try to quickly work out the corrective actions that is required. Then an external auditor, especially a qualified who has specialized in certain areas, an external auditor can definitely give you good inputs on the global practices and the best practices and of similar organization or the similar industry that have been doing. And quality audits will definitely provide you a proactive offering assistance in a positive manner to improve your implementation process. So you have to always take as a project manager, you have to always take as a positive. So always it won't be rosy, the quality audits. There can be definitely shortcomings and non-conformities. And you as a project manager, you have to motivate your team to adhere to these quality standards. Then of course there can be lesson and registry, repository of your organization that can be highly contributing to you. Again, this is not much. Basically, some of the tools. So there are set standards and guidelines in worldwide industrial standards are there that you can incorporate into your project. This is called design for X. X stands for what? So say these are some technical global standards or global best practices that you can incorporate into your project. Maybe the UI and UX. What are the latest trend of UI and UX? How the buttons should be there in your user screen, and it's a different ball game, the UI and UX. Then maybe what are the what are the safety or information security design, global practice designs that is available. Maybe you're doing a factory, you're in a project of building a factory. Designs for environment, what are the environmental friendly guidelines that are available. Design for user friendliness. Then there is a user friendliness. What are the global practices, global software development practices for user designs for user friendliness? Again, the UI and UX. So likewise, serviceability. If you are doing a data center, or if you are building up a data center, what are the serviceability and maintainability best practices? You have to have 2 UPSs, one can be shut down, another can be maintained. You have 4 ACs, one can be concurrently shut down, and while other 2 are working, you can hot pluggable devices you can plug up, and you can pull out the AC fan and plug in the other fan on hot spare basis. So those are the serviceable best practices or best trends that is there in the global market. So these design for X guidelines can be used to optimize your project. Right. Then again, some techniques, problem solving, as I told you, like the root cause analysis, problem solving will definitely give you a good quality understanding, what level of quality correction actions that you need to take, the root cause, the possible solutions, the best solutions, and implementing the solutions and verifying the solutions effectiveness. So the problem solving techniques, the steps of problem solving will give you definitely a good insight in managing quality of your project. Right. So now you're managing quality of your project, and these are, you come up with quality reports, and sometimes you might have to escalate to your teams the outcomes of your quality audits, corrective actions that you as a project manager have to put your foot down and try to take the corrective actions and get your team to do the corrective actions. Sometimes there can be change requests, obviously, from previous root cause analysis. There can be change requests that need to be done to your design, into your software development design. So then you will have to raise up change requests, internal change request, which can cost and which can cost time, which can cost money. So that's why you need to go through the integrated change control process to ensure, to see what is the impact of such change requests on the quality, on the schedule and the cost of your project. And sometimes you might have updates to your project plan.